series of disputes has forced dividends of healthcare delivery to its knees in the country. What is the basis of these disagreements among health professionals? That is the focus of this week's edition of the program. Hello there, thank you for joining us once again this week on the program. I'm Gloria Umezuke. It has become apparent that all is definitely not well in the nation's health sector. For months on end, the industry has been entangled in a web of disputes and protests, culminating in strikes or threats of strike and other expressions of disharmony. Well, this worrisome trend is what we will be speaking about this week, and to understand the major threats Nigerians are facing. Later in the program, we bring you an appraisal of how the sector has fared in 2013. But first, let's listen to how the federal government intervened in a planned industrial action by the Nigerian Medical Association.
It's highly successful. So the issues are issues that they raised, before embarking on the warning strike. So the purpose of this meeting is to avert the other strike, which they have given notice. That is the NMA. So, and we held a successful meeting from yesterday up till this morning.
So what's the position of government?
Our position is to assist NMA avert the strike, and for NMA to assist the government to make sure that the strike does not take place.
The resolutions were something that were mutually accepted, and they promised to talk to their members with a view to averting the strike. So we hope that will come to pass.
We have met with them, we have reached some understanding, and we shall take whatever has been put on the table for us back to our members. And it's for the members, for them to consider these various positions that government has advanced, for them to, of course, take a final position.
Well, joining me now is the National Vice President of the Joint Health Sector Workers Union. Comrade Felix Faniron, you're welcome to Declan Abuja.
Thank you very much.
Well, let's understand some issues right now. Okay. What really is the true situation here? Why is there this major disunity among health professionals in the country?
Thank you very much. We have had this disunity, this harmony, this discord in the health sector for quite some time. The major cause of this disunity is that we have a divide between the workers. The medical practitioners on one hand, the other healthcare professionals and workers on the other hand. The medical practitioners want to be seen as the master of all and the group that should have everything in the sector to the detriment of others.
Why do you say so?
Because of what we are seeing on the ground. Let me give you instances of things that are happening. The extant rules or law that guides the teaching hospitals in Nigeria, known as the Teaching Hospital Act, U15, LFN 2004, originally known as Decree 10 of 1985, has a clause that the Chief Executive Officer of the teaching hospital should be a medically qualified person. Unfortunately, when the minister in charge of health at that time was a medical practitioner in 1985, Professor Kuti, he interpreted this phrase to mean medical practitioner only, to the detriment of other healthcare professionals and workers. And we all know that the interpretation of that phrase is healthcare professionals, including nurses, pharmacists, physiotherapists, and others. So by so doing, the other healthcare professionals are being completely cut off from being appointable as chief executive officers of teaching hospitals in Nigeria.
And that is what you're hoping to correct?
That is one of those things we want to correct. And there are issues on this area now, refer to courts to interpret correctly. There are two issues, there are two cases in two Nigerian high courts to correct this. This has brought a lot of disunity over the years, not yet corrected. Number two, healthcare professionals, those of us like physiotherapists, I am a physiotherapist, pharmacist, lab scientist, who trained for about 6 years in the university for first degree, and some have masters and PhD thereafter. You know, it would be strange for you to hear that they were never allowed to be promotable to grade level 17 in the public service, simply because the chief medical directors, who are medical practitioners, did not want any other person to move closer to them. So they are being repressed, even by promotion. Whereas others who went to university for 3-4 years can become director, permanent secretary elsewhere. We who are chosen to be in our own health sector are deprived of this opportunity by medical practitioners. That is another evidence. And if look at a institution where nurses went to court, they gained a court process in 1991 that they should be made director of the Ministry of Health. They were deprived because the Minister of Health at that time, for a long time, deprived them the opportunity. And until just 1 or 2 years ago that we fought again, they got this 1 or 2 positions created for them. It will also interest that even in the Ministry of Health, it's so structured that other healthcare professionals, except pharmacists, and now I just talking about the nurses, are not having officers of directorate cadre in the Federal Ministry of Health. Physiotherapists, lab science, and others, they are not in the Ministry of Health to affect policy formulation and execution. So when you are cut off from policy formulation, it affects execution, and so people are marginalized. These are the things we have found over the years, and you find, a few years ago, you were talking about national aid bill. What caused the national aid bill from not being signed by the minister? We had to protest to Mr. President, don't sign it, because the medical practitioners had put certain things inside the bill to repress us. And when we discovered it, we said, Minister, call the stakeholders from, let us address these gray areas so that before it becomes law, it won't generate another source of
But this has been going on for years. How do you think this can be resolved?
Thank you very much. Number one, the people, Mr. President should know the true position of things in the health sector. When we were trying to advise Mr. President in 2010 not to appoint a Minister of Health who is a member of the NMA, he didn't understand us. Because we have observed, whenever the Minister of Health is of the NMA extraction, Nigerians suffer a lot. There will be strikes and because they want every good thing in the health sector to come to their members only. Anybody who's going to be Minister of Health should be broad-minded, should be open, should be fair to all, like Ejita Lambo did. He never took sides with anybody, and we had peace. Therefore, the first thing is that Mr. President should know that one of the major reasons why you're having this problem is the minister himself.
So the union feels marginalized in many of the